Cheers, everybody, and welcome back to Sips and Scripts. I'm your host, Kirsten Jackson, cocktail lover, storyteller, and your go-to girl for bold films and even bolder drinks. So today, it's me and Terrell holding it down. Jeff is still out on assignment, and we've got a special guest joining us today.
Yes, we
So,
do.
yes, we do. Please welcome Reginald L. Pierce, Sr., Coroner
Thank
of
you.
Liberty County. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay! So, a little bit about our guest. Coroner Pierce was awarded Coroner of the Year for his vision and service to the citizens of Liberty County. He was also the general manager, licensed funeral director, and embalmer for Dorchester Funeral Home and Ellen Pierce Funeral Home Incorporated. And we are honored to have him with us for this discussion. So again, welcome, welcome. How's
Thank you.
everybody doing today? How are you doing, Mr. Pierce?
I am doing wonderful. Wonderful.
You want to tell
Thank
everyone
y'all.
where you are?
Thank
Because it's kind of interesting.
I am sitting in my office here at the funeral home, actually. Got a 1 o'clock service going on. So I am actually here in the office today. Yep.
That's so cool. A movie about a
Oh, yeah.
funeral with a funeral in the background. I mean, can it get any better than that?
Hey,
Terrell, what's going on with you?
Hey man, I'm excited to be here. It's good to see Mr. Pierce again. Coached me up when
yep,
I
yep,
was in
yep,
AAU, so yeah,
yep,
it's
yep,
good to
yep.
see him again.
I'm still
Yeah.
young, man. I'm still young, man. I take it to the hole, man. I'm still young. Man. Still
Sure, babes.
Yeah, I had my basketball debut last year, it wouldn't
Oh,
it wasn't a good experience.
grand
Mhm.
opening, grand closing, huh?
When I hit
So,
that floor, that was all she wrote. Yep.
Mm.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh boy. All right. Well, today's film is Kingdom Come, which I thought was pretty appropriate here with Mr. Pierce's profession.
Mm.
But the film was released in 2001 and it is directed by Doug McHenry. It's a dramedy with an incredible ensemble cast, and we at Sips and Scripts love an ensemble cast. Starring Whoopi Goldberg, LL Cool J, Jada Pinkett Smith, Loretta Devine, Vivica A. Fox, Anthony Anderson, Cedric the Entertainer, and Toni Braxton. And just to keep it fun for today, our guest coroner will choose which one of us does the 60-second recap challenge a little later on. So when we get to that, so we're gonna let you think on a little bit, and then we're gonna get to that. Oh, but first,
What now? What I be doing, Christian? Now, what's that mean? What I be doing now?
so we have a 60-second recap challenge where one of us takes 60 seconds to recap the whole movie. And it's harder than it sounds.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
When you get to choose which one of us does it. So we're
Perfect.
gonna let you think on it for a bit. And then we
Uh,
get to it. You can
Thank
drop the
God I get.
hammer.
Thank God I get to pick and choose. Thank God.
All right. Well, before we dig in, let's open up with our personal history with the film. So, did you see Kingdom Come when it first came out, or was this a later discovery for you on DVD, or what? I'm gonna ask our guest first.
So I've seen it when it first came out, and
Okay.
then and then I've seen it few more. Well, a few more times after that I've seen it.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Any,
Terrell, what about you?
anything in my profession, I usually like to look at it and see what it's all about.
Interesting. I think I'm gonna ask you about that a little later.
Yep. Hmm.
All right, Terrell, what about you?
I don't believe I saw it in the theaters, but I did buy the DVD. I think it was
Mhm.
based on the music though, because I ended up buying the soundtrack, which I still listen to from time to time more than I watch the movie. So
Yeah.
yeah, the soundtrack was definitely a lot better than the movie. I'll say that.
Yeah, it is one of those where the soundtrack was way more memorable than the film. So yeah. Me personally, I don't remember when I saw it first. It just feels like one of those movies that's just always been a part of, I don't know, like a lazy day. Like it's just always been there. I can't even remember. And I didn't realize it was that old. It came out in 2001. So it
when I
had to
went
be.
to Google it, I was looking. I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." Made me feel old.
Yeah. Because you are. So anyway, now this is our second film that we've done this year in 2001. So 2001 is a popular year for us this season. So because Down to Earth, the Chris Rock film we just did a few weeks ago, was in 2001 too. So like I said, I don't remember when I saw it, but I know that I've seen it a bunch of times with like family. It's one of those, I don't know, it feels like a Thanksgiving movie. Does that make sense to y'all? Does that sound crazy? Like it's something like like it feels like a movie that you would pull out and watch.
Oh yeah.
After you eat or something. Yeah. So, but not necessarily Christmas, because I feel like Christmas you still kind of watching Christmas crap. But like, I don't know, it feels like a family film, like you would just after you eat.
Well, and I think you have to be interested in the overall professional field to really be interested in really watching anytime anyway. So most people won't be interested, probably say, "Oh, it's okay." But then we look at the supporting cast for LL Cool J and Anthony Anderson and Jada. That's kind of like they made some great movies over the years. So
yeah.
So when you look at that cast, like, okay, I'm curious to see what this is all about. So
yeah. I totally agree. I think that when you see an ensemble cast, you already get in your mind like, this movie may be good or bad, but at least they're all together, and it's fun watching all the people you love all interact all together, because it's like some big names, like as far as like Black star, it's like some Black star power up in this movie. So yeah.
And then when you go back to LL Cool J, I Need Love, so you listen to all his music, you know what I'm saying, and then to see him come on the stage and do a move, and it's like, is that really LL Cool J? You know what I'm saying? Had the, he back in the days had the gold chain, you know what I'm saying? He had the king going, so
he did. And you're not wrong. And Terrell and I have said before, like LL Cool J stays in his bag. LL Cool J always plays LL Cool J.
LL Cool J, no matter what.
You're not gonna get a bunch of range from him. You're not gonna get no deep philosophical commentary, nothing. You just gonna get LL Cool J. He gonna show up. He gonna lick his lips. He gonna say a little something and leave. And you can't be mad at it.
He's not gonna pick an accent, because he didn't sound like he was from Lula, Georgia, whatsoever.
Oh, he didn't, and I respect that he didn't even try. Like it was just, look, you get what you get. I'm LL Cool J. What more do you want from me? So, but all right, well. I guess it's time for our 60-second recap challenge. So, good luck, Terrell.
So I get to choose, the 60. Well, why don't I just get the nice host, Miss Kirsten, and that 60? I know you got it, Kirsten. Come on, give it to you, Kirsten. I know you got it. 60.
You got it.
I know you got it.
You go, big dog. You got it.
Because I know you got something for me later on, so you got it.
But I thought that you would choose Terrell just to bring it full circle, because you haven't seen him in so long. Damn it.
Yeah, you weren't ready, but I'm glad you never.
I'm not ready. And the funny thing is that Terrell always does a really good job, and I'm the one that really screws it up. So here goes.
Yeah.
All right, Terrell. Well, you go ahead and count us in.
Whenever you're ready.
You're gonna give it back. I know. You're gonna give it back. I know.
And go.
All right. Okay, so okay, we have the not matriarch, patriarch of this family drops dead at the breakfast table. And so we basically, it's a movie about the funeral and like all of the issues that this family is addressing. Like this funeral kind of like triggers a lot of stuff, but it feels like a lot of stuff was already just going on. This family seems kind of chaotic. But anyway, so we get the funeral and just all of the like process of the funeral, like, you know, getting the clothes and hosting family. And so we learn about all these different family things, and then the sons of the dad have to accept that, you know, their dad was not very nice, but you know, he did teach him a couple things before he died, and he wasn't that great to his mom, but his mom
Ooh.
Oh, you did good, Kirsten. You did good. You did good.
Because you like you need about 2 minutes. 50 seconds is not nearly long enough for you.
Yeah, you had it going on, Kirsten.
See, see what happened was I just sometimes forget that I need to be explaining the plot, because I be explaining like the themes and stuff, and then I get confused, and then
It's all right.
You know, but when I, you know, it's just like me when I deal with it pretty much on a daily basis. I mean, you know, in the beginning of the movie, and it's like you sitting there and you talking to somebody, and then next thing you know, they just, you know, they fall over. You know, and that's actual. That's actual real life. I mean, that is actual the way things happen sometimes. And you know, you be talking to a person, next thing you know, it's, you know, they just they're not there anymore. And so that's why the movie to me was so interesting, because in today's world, today's life, I mean, it was in 2001, but this movie is just like what we're still going through today with funerals. People arguing, they fighting, they fussing, they making up, they laughing, they crying, you know, and it's all the same. But the only thing about it now, I ain't gonna put you on no ballerina shoes.
Oh, we gonna get to that now.
I ain't gonna have your toes sticking up now like that right there now, bro. You know.
Okay, well, first of all, let's address this. Did you just compare my 60-second recap to somebody falling over dead at the breakfast table?
Well,
I mean, I know it was bad.
See, what happened was, you know, you lay it off, you know. So what happened was, you know, I'm just piggyback off, and you know, yeah.
Right, great.
It was similar. I felt it. I was like, oh man, right on the spot. He just keeled over.
Yes, thank you for that, Kirsten. Thank you for that.
I told you I didn't want to do it. Well, that's what you get, because you should have chose Terrell, so you learned a valuable lesson there, buddy.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right.
That's okay. It's
well,
all good.
I think it's time for a cocktail. Let's just get a cocktail, because I think we need one after that.
Yeah, what we sipping on today? I know it's gonna be good.
This week's sip is warm and comforting and a little messy, just like a family reunion, just like this movie. So we are going to call it The Family Gathering. And as almost always, we start with our shaker. And we are going to fill it with ice. And I got our little measure. So today we are using Cedar Ridge Iowa bourbon whiskey. This was gifted to us, so thank you to Cedar Ridge. And I did an unboxing like last week, but I'm just now opening it, so I'm looking forward to using it in our cocktail today. So we are going to take 2 ounces of our bourbon and pour it in our shaker. And already steady in the cocktail world is the peach schnapps. So I got a little corner left, so I've been kind of using it. Don't tell anybody. We are going to take an ounce of peach schnapps. And peach schnapps is kind of sweet, so that it's going to sweeten our cocktail up. and an ounce of lemon juice. So I'm not using fresh lemon juice. I'm just using this regular old store-bought. We are going to use an ounce of lemon juice for the tart in our cocktail. And then we are going to give it a little shake. In our cocktail shaker. And we're going to put this cocktail in a tall glass. So I've got my glass here, and I'm going to fill it with ice. All right. And pour from our shaker into our glass. You can see that. All right. So we've got our glass about half full. And then we are going to top with sweet tea because it's the South. So we are going to top our drink with sweet tea. And there you have it. A family gathering. So yeah. So it's basically a Southern port sipper with just a little drama. And it's very good, if I do say so myself.
Okay.
All right, so let's hop into our film discussion. So we usually start out with a text summary, and which we mentioned before, Kingdom Come was released in 2001. It had a budget of $7 million and went on to gross $23.4 million. I did not realize that it did so well. I mean, that's not great, but it recouped what it spent. So I didn't realize that. The film was also recognized at the 2002 NAACP Image Awards with nominations for Whoopi Goldberg for Outstanding Actress, Cedric the Entertainer, Outstanding Supporting Actor, Loretta Devine, Outstanding Supporting Actress, and Vivica A. Fox, Outstanding Supporting Actress. Some behind-the-scenes trivia is the movie is based off of the off-Broadway play, Dearly Departed. The original play was written for a white Southern family, but it was reimagined for the film with an all-black cast. The soundtrack, which we mentioned earlier, features Kurt Franklin, Mary, and Trinity 5-7. And it is a true gospel classic lineup. The soundtrack is really, really good. Loretta Devine, Whoopi Goldberg, and Vivica A. Fox improvised several of their funniest lines on set. And this was one of Toni Braxton's first major acting roles. She hasn't done a lot of major films, but I know she's done like quite a few like Lifetime television movies. So, but this was her breakout role. So, yeah. Kingdom Come, it tells the story of the Slocumb family who must come together after the death of patriarch Woodrow Bud Slocumb, a man not exactly remembered fondly. His wife, Raynell, played by Whoopi Goldberg, is almost nonchalant about his passing, and while his children and extended family bring their own baggage and secrets and conflicts to the reunion. Ray Bud, played by LL Cool J, is a recovering alcoholic struggling with unresolved issues with his father, supported by his wife, Lucille, played by Vivica A. Fox, who quietly battles infertility. Junior, played by Anthony Anderson, is broke after a failed invention, and his outspoken wife, Cherise, played by Jada Pinkett Smith, constantly reminds him that she could have married richer. Juanita, played by Toni Braxton, is that cousin's scorned ex. And then there's Marguerite, who's played by Loretta Devine, very pious, overbearing mother who constantly berates her unemployed son, Royce, played by Darius McCrary, fearing he'll end up in jail like his brother. And what unfolds is a mix of grief and humor and family dysfunction, with moments of love and faith and forgiveness woven between the chaos. So, yeah. So let's crack this movie open and talk about it. I'm going to start I have a question for you too, that I'm going to answer and then throw it to you guys. Do you think that comedy is an effective way to process or talk about death in Black families, or just in families in general? I know me personally, I uh, am kind of lighthearted and I'm not very serious. I kind of joke about things. And I do use comedy as a way to get through tough situations. But in I what I do want to ask that question to you both, but I want to ask you specifically, Pierce, if you've ever seen that backfire.
Yes, I have. I've seen it backfire. I've seen comedy and then it turns into anger. I've
Mm,
seen families get angry because of being comedy.
mm,
So I've seen the whole streamline of it. I'm always a believer that laughter is good for the soul.
mhm.
Um, but everybody don't feel that same way when they're going through it. So that's just. But I mean, everybody take things differently. Me personally, I'm like you, Kirsten. I'm happy to go. I like to laugh. I like to joke. Anywhere I can see a family, I can pick them up in the arrangement conference or on a funeral or whatever. I'm gonna try to pick them up because some fact that death is not something we deal with every day. Family deal with every day,
Yeah,
and the weight of them on their shoulders. So I try to mix a little bit of everything together, whatever I can find to make that family comfortable. We'll try to find.
yeah.
So yeah,
All
yeah.
right, Terrell.
Well, I don't know. I don't. What do I do? I mean, I don't comedy. It depends. It
Dude,
depends
I
on
know
where I'm
you.
at.
I know you.
Okay. It not. I try to do it at the appropriate time. I don't try to like shoehorn it in. Like, haha, we in the middle of the funeral. Let me say something funny. Like, nah.
Well,
But
yeah.
like after
Mhm.
repast, before just sitting around with family. Try to get a little something off to lighten the mood because it's heavy, it's dark, it's people are not feeling their best. So you just try to do what you can to just keep people's spirits high and keep your own spirits high. 'Cause-
Right. Right. I think it's more like a coping thing for me more than me trying to make anyone else feel. Well, sometimes it is because I'm trying to like lighten the mood or whatever. And that's not even just like with death, but just like with difficult situations anyway. So you know. um Terrell, you got a question?
Sure. I wanted to know what everyone thought about just how they depict Southern towns in these Hollywood movies. Because that was something that kind of it bothered me since I'm from a very small town. Like it doesn't get much smaller than Allenhurst.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so it's
Yeah.
like, how do y'all feel about how they depict Southerners in Hollywood films? Because to answer it myself, I just don't like the way they do it. It always seems like they're trying to call us slow or just we don't get it or everything's back in time, like the car they were driving in 2001, and y'all driving cars from like 1973 and
Mhm.
I'm like, it's not like that. Yeah, you have that small town, you got the small town stores, you got the small town shops and all that stuff, but like it's not as bad as they make it seem in these movies. I just want to know what y'all think about that.
Who you asking first?
Let's go with you, Kirsten.
Okay. It's so weird. Like so and I first felt it in the beginning when what's the wife's name? Lucille,
Hmm.
played by Vivica Fox. When she was like she went to the funeral home and I guess they took a little longer than she anticipated and then she had to go to the market and she's like bamming on the door like, "Oh no, the market's closed. What am I going to do now?" And I get that there are food deserts where, some places only have like one market, but I was like, just drive up the road, please, and go to Walmart, please.
Mm-hmm.
It was strange that she didn't. So she doesn't have she didn't have children, and yet she had like this industrial box of corn dogs to feed everybody.
Hey, that's the fallback meal. We ain't got nothing else. Just throw some corn dogs out there. You get it, man.
I don't mind a good corn dog. Okay, I wouldn't have been mad, but it was like, where did you get that from? So it was just strange. Okay, we got a comment that says, we as Black people are the most unserious people. We laugh at things and in spaces where most people don't. Yeah, we've had to do that to survive. You're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, there were a lot of scenes in this movie, like, and especially like my favorite character is Delightful.
Who said absolutely nothing and was eating the whole time?
Because I tease my mama, like if I say this to my mom, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, you trying to make me be delightful. That's what you're trying to do. Like, because she want me to be like, oh, mom, and just run behind her and like take care of her and dote on her. And I'm like, I have a mind too. And then especially like when I started hosting family meals at my home, she was, I didn't know you could cook, and I didn't know you could do it. I'm like, yeah, because you wanted me to be damn delightful, but I ain't delightful.
Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah. Which both of you know my mom, so you all know how that is. But yeah, it made us seem, and Whoopi Goldberg's her accent was not so good. But like we said earlier, she tried to do it a couple of times, and it was like, no, we know you Whoopi Goldberg, your Goldberg voice. That's just not that, no. But like I said earlier, I respect the fact that LL Cool J didn't even try. He was just like,
he just showed her. He was like, "There's a check. Collect this check, and we're all about this business."
Yeah. Let me know when you want me to lick my lips because I can do it on cue. It's my talent. So,
and you know, most of the movies that they play, in the down south, they do that to, in my opinion, to try to boost revenue, try to make it look like that we are, that's how we are portrayed. But I mean, in up north and everywhere else, they're dealing with the same factors in the movie. It's the same contributing factors, same everything, and sometimes up north is even worse. So
sometimes up north people be even countryer than us.
That's true.
So, because you will have people from up north come down here and think that we're just like wearing overalls and playing the banjo all day, and it's like,
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So, well, let's talk about what this film says about family dysfunction during funerals. And we have an expert in the house. Family dysfunction and funerals. Because I know there is probably a mix of grief and anger and just lots of different emotions that go on around the funeral process. And you have the unique experience of being in the entire process, like dealing with the family, dealing with the body, dealing with the burial, and dealing with the family again after that, and the funeral itself. So I am looking forward to hearing some of your unique experiences if you will share them with us.
So now how long I got now? Because I can talk about this stuff. You tell me how long I got now, because we can talk about this for a while. But
we're gonna take a break for a nap, and then we're gonna come back.
And then come back again, right? So each family and each individual loved one is just different. You can have some family that come in, they they happy. They take care of arrangements. They don't understand that their loved one has been, has been ill, and everything is in order, financial wise and all, and their services go just as nice and well.
Yeah.
And then you have those families that come in, just like on Kingdom Come, that they business is not in order, quite in order. You have Miss what is it, Marguerite, that's saved and sanctified and filled with the Holy. Was that the one Marguerite played, Loretta Devine? Saved and sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost, and and there's want things done their way, and it's got to be that way, and then you have that Whoopi Goldberg that stands up and say, "Nope, this is my husband, and this is how I'm going to do it."
Yeah.
So you have that, and then you have sons or daughters that don't get along. And I hate to say this, but we all, I got aunties. So I can tell you my story. I got auntie, and so if we go right, she going left. If we go up, she going down. My auntie is just, it is what it is. She's not going to agree with nothing you do. And so I'm just not saying that. I mean, I've got it in my family, and all families do. But the main thing about it is, death is something that should bring us closer together. But I've seen death divide families even more, especially land and property and insurance, and and then you find it out, you thought you were the beneficiary, and you realize you wasn't the beneficiary all this time, and on the insurance policy, and then it's total chaos. And then the worst thing I hate of it is families put the funeral home in the middle of their family disputes. And we have nothing to do with it. It's a family issue, but we get caught in the middle because you got one family want a death certificate, and then you got another part of the family. Well, I want a death certificate too. Well, I mean, but y'all need to work it out, but so it's kind of like playing a juggling game sometime too. Because in with us here, with me here, by knowing people, a lot of people, you don't want to make one person mad. You make them mad, they call somebody else next time. So in the movie, you had what was the name of the pew,
the rival funeral home.
The rival funeral homes, you know what I'm saying? So you got that in Patterson. So and those, it's like, they got these slogans and everything, and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're just like us. I mean, they depend on the community to basically take care of your finances and everything. So it's just so real to me, though. It's unbelievable. If you were able to come sit down a day in the world and say, you know what, I mean, I've had families been so upset, slam the door. I mean, it's like, and then after it's all those said and done, they come back and apologize, because it's that anger and that grief that it's we have those 5 stages of grief that we deal with and we go through. But you can never know what a family is feeling, and I hate when people say, "Oh, well, I know what you're going through." Really? Just because you've been through it your way doesn't mean you go through it the way I went through it. I heard that a lot. I heard that a lot in 2022. When my wife passed. So, I heard all that. Oh, I really know how you feel. No, you don't. I'm going from a funeral director, from a husband now to a funeral director and embalmer, planning the funeral and everything else. And no, you don't quite understand where I got it, because I got to go now and do both things. So, but it is something that a lot of people don't think about. That's right. But in the movie Kingdom Come, it was an actually eye opener when I saw it, because I was actually surprised at how much they put in the cast with today's world. I mean, we in 2025, and we still doing the same thing in 2001 as in 2025. It's amazing how these movies, it's amazing. So.
What do you think can be done to help these issues? And I'm gonna answer first, and I'm not the expert, but I'm gonna say how I feel, and then I'm gonna kick it back to you. But I tell people this quite a bit. I feel like we don't talk about death enough, with our families, with children, with our parents, and it's almost like, and maybe you can attest to this more than I can, but it seems like death comes as this big shock. Even when somebody is sick, it's still like, And I get that death is still like a major event in someone's life. It's the final event in someone's life. And it is still like a big thing. But I feel like we could talk about death more, and like the actual process of death. Talk about, faith and finances and funeral arrangements and all that stuff. But the actual act of loss and just how to move on, as a family,
Mhm.
how to deal with the loss of this person. Um, so yeah, what do you think are some things that can help families um, handle these situations better?
Well, I think you just said it. With the, we in this sad, but we in the African American community, we don't want to deal with death. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to have to try to face it until we have to face it. So we are planning for everything else. We're planning a grocery list. We're planning to go to Walmart. We're planning for, baby christening. We're planning for, everything in the world we're planning for, but we don't plan for death. We, for some reason, we feel like we're going to live forever. So we don't make those preparations. And I think it's just a generation. It just, if your mama don't talk to you about it, you know what I'm saying, then you don't really know, and mom and daddy don't say it, and it come down to you, you don't say to your kid, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's more of a education, and like you said, and to have these conversations, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's final. Death is final.
Mhm.
What we're doing now is we're doing what they call pre-need planning. So we are discussing outside of an at need, which at need is a regular funeral when it comes down. So we're doing pre-planning. We're going to different churches and everything. We're actually talking about arrangements now prior to. So you have time now as far as young, like I am. I made my funeral arrangements already. But most people feel like, well, if I make my arrangements, I'm gonna die tomorrow or I'm gonna die the next day. You ain't gonna die until the good Lord calls you.
Yeah.
And so, but we have that phobia that we like. Well, I don't know what's gonna happen, so I just rather not discuss it at all. And then you have those other ones that go in denial and say, well, mom or dad or sister, but they're gonna get up. The Lord is gonna heal them. The Lord is gonna. You're praying for the Lord to heal them, and then when the Lord heals them, then you get upset because the Lord did what you asked Him to do, which He healed them from all the pain. So, my mom went through it in 2011. We know. I won't speak on my experiences. So I know in 2011, my mom passed away. We didn't know she had breast cancer. She had a mammogram done in January, and my mom was deceased in March from breast
Oh my
cancer.
goodness.
So that took a toll in a matter of 3 to 4 days. So, and we had to make a decision, that and so we made a decision that a mom was just a church mother. She didn't want to suffer. She didn't want, none of that stuff. So we made a decision. And so, but most families don't know how to deal with that unless they are in that situation to be able to deal with it. So, I think education, which touched on Kirsten, is the main key. Talking about it, discussing it. This podcast here, getting it out as much as possible. It's life. It's just we're not going to run from death,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Let's get caught up in the rapture.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
but you go
Yeah.
to the experts. That's why that's what I'm going to show here now. You go to the experts. You're like Kirsten, the expert. Sipping. But you but what you're doing is not only the podcast, you're actually giving the viewers and an opportunity to understand what maybe the movie's about, but also understand too. This is life. This
Yeah.
is you know, it's just life.
It is. It is a movie that touches on a very real life experience
Hmm.
that we all have to go through, no
Yeah.
matter our race or whatever.
Hmm.
And even though race and age and all that stuff does play a factor in how these different funerals are experienced, um, it's still something that we
Yeah.
all have to experience in one way or another.
Hmm.
Terrell, did you want to add anything to that question, as far as like what families can do to?
I don't believe I can add anything else.
I just didn't
No,
want
what
to.
Mr. Pierce said, he
I
said
just didn't want to
it
skip over
was
you,
perfect.
bro.
No skipping. I'm being educated as we speak.
Yeah, I know. I need to get my arrangements together, and yeah,
Well,
I
Well, you know, Christian, most just like us, most funeral homes and everybody have their websites. Most of them have websites, so most of the forms and paperwork are attached to the website. So you can
Mhm.
actually go on that funeral home website and actually do the planning.
Well, I'm
Um,
going to go to your website. I mean,
well,
who else?
yeah, yeah.
Who else does
Well,
our
well,
family?
well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. So you go to our website then, and you can,
That would be the biggest
eh,
scandal if we
yeah.
went to another funeral home.
Well, yeah. But but that's those, and what you just said is the key, because that is what people understand when you've been with a funeral home for a period of time. You know that funeral home. You have a relationship with the
Yeah,
funeral home versus going to somebody you don't have a relationship with, so you don't know what to expect.
right, right.
When you had a relationship, and a lot of people, in the movie when he said, we always dealt with Pattersons, and why are we going down to another funeral? So
Mhm.
I mean that's
Right. And
kind of like
that's
that's kind of like, if I say it's kind of like a kitchen. I'm like, oh man, hey, he's saying the same thing,
but
you know.
what's funny is that that hearing those conversations like that in this film, because we've all like it's I'm gonna just say the black side of town, we always do Dorchester.
Mhm.
And so you hear like you see jokes on Facebook and stuff where like people are like, who did the body? Like we ain't never had to ask that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
know who did the body.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
know who's got the body.
yeah.
But yeah, I think like, and I don't think you and I, Pearson, have this conversation, but we've talked about like funeral photography. And
Yeah.
when I bring that up to people, they're like,
Mhm.
what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, my story behind that is like, we hire photographers. Well, let me start this off first. I want to be a funeral photographer. I've done it before, but not in a professional capacity. But the actual like process of it, I enjoyed it, like as far as any other photography that I have done. And that is what I would like to move forward in.
Mhm.
But anyway, like we hire photographers for every other important in life event in our lives, for the birth of children, for birthday parties, for weddings and graduation. We hire photographers, but the most important and the most expensive uh, event in our lives, we don't hire photographers for.
For that
And
memory. Hmm.
yes, and I never thought about it before until I went to my aunt's funeral and someone photographed that funeral. And
Hmm.
it seems, to talk about it, it seems very morbid to have pictures of the deceased. But it was very comforting to have that year after the funeral, a couple of years after the funeral, to when you're ready and like really ready to accept what had happened, you
Hmm.
can look back on. And I wish, like, someone did it for my aunt, but I wish that someone did it for my dad.
Yeah.
Because the way my dad was killed, for those of you who know my story, like he was killed very suddenly. So he wasn't sick. We didn't get like that the beginning of the grieving process where somebody is sick. It was just a very sudden death. And that whole time was a blur.
Hmm.
I remember your face, Mr.
Hmm.
Pierce. I
Hmm.
remember walking into the casket room, and
Hmm.
I remember boxes of sodas being stacked up the wall at the house, and I
Hmm.
remember buckets of chicken, and I
Yep.
remember my mom in and out of consciousness,
Yep.
and that's all I remember. And then I remember getting in a limo and going to the church. Like my
Yep.
memory is so spotty. I don't remember any of the service. I kind of remember what my father looked like in his casket, but I don't, like, it was so spotty. And I wish that I had funerals of the service, because mom made sure to put together like a really nice funeral with the singing, because he really liked that and all that stuff. But I don't remember any of it. And I wish that I had that. And so that's why I want to do that. And I also, on the flip side, I also think it's the one of the few occasions where all of your family is together. So you have, the opportunity to take pictures as a family, and you're all dressed nice, or supposed to be. So so yeah, but that's my take on that.
Well, and then too, if you know when we got into the COVID era,
Yeah.
and COVID just taught us how we can actually have a funeral
Mhm.
on live stream.
Yes.
So we were doing, so we were doing live stream services. We were doing Zoom arrangement conferences. So that kind of brought us into the area where we at today with the live streaming. Um, Now I do have a video of my mom's service, like 2011, and like you said, Chris, it's a great tool because anytime I want to just go back to it and look at it, I can go back to it and look at it anytime.
Yeah.
And that memory picture, was like a wedding. It's like you can pull it out when you want to, and then you don't have to pull it out, but you have that information when you want to, and then
Right.
you can let your grandkids or great grandkids say, "Hey, this was your great granddaddy. Here's a service." So it's kind of, to me, it's like a family thing. So I think it'd be good for the families. But
It is. I think, like, one of the important photos in that set of my aunt's funeral is you see people crying. And even though, it's like it's kind of intrusive and personal, but you get to show people who did not know this person, like, look who came to this funeral. Look who showed their active grief, and it was on display, and their love flowing from their eyes. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think that people should really consider it, because, like I said, when I bring it up, people are like, what? but
yeah, they're probably
but
like, what? What's
it's
going on?
a
What you
work in
thinking about?
progress.
Yeah, like what? Filming a funeral? What?
Yeah,
Exactly. I
I'm
mean, but
telling you, nine times out of
most
ten,
stay
every
home
time I
now.
mention it.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and a lot of white funerals do it.
Hmm.
They have photographers at their funerals, and I was
Hmm.
like, okay, this needs to be something that Black people get on board with. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
So.
we caught on board the live streaming. You know what I'm saying? So, and
Mhm.
we caught on board graveside services. The Lord has a way of opening our eyes up to things that we don't see it happening, but He's got a way of opening our eyes up for us to see it. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point about COVID was rough, but it did open up a lot of
Yeah.
new and fresh ideas, because we were just forced to have those ideas.
Hmm.
And yeah, the live streaming of services is so great, because people who aren't financially able to attend funerals were able to see their loved ones being buried and see the final moments before they go in the ground. And I think that's incredible. So, like I said, COVID was rough, but
Yeah, it
we
was
had
rough.
some
COVID rough. COVID rough.
we had
I
some
had it
good
3 times.
things.
I had it 3 times, so it was rough.
Oh,
Oh,
geez.
I'm a two-timer, Terrell. I think you're a one-timer, right?
No, I had it twice. I had it twice.
Yeah, I had it three
Okay.
times. I had it 3 times, boy. I tell you.
So we ain't civilians. We full on know about COVID. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you know what? This is off script, but now I'm just curious. Can we talk about COVID in the funeral industry for you?
Sure.
How I'm sure your funeral service was definitely affected by COVID.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, COVID. What we started experiencing with COVID is, we was having services outside. We were having no services inside the building. We were not having any like visitation after hours. People that walk in and with a mask and be masked. Everything was, hand sanitizer when you first come in, hand sanitizer you go out. Everybody had a mask on. We only
mhm.
allowed about 5 or 10 people to go in at a time. And so,
Did
it was a trying time there for a while.
did it
But then,
change any of your practices, like as far as like embalming, or just like the actual process of
no, it
preparing the
didn't.
body?
No, it didn't because we every the embalming process is the same.
Mhm.
You know, you still have to wear your PPEs, which is a protective wear
Right.
when you're doing your embalming. So you still have all that same equipment on. So the main thing is, and any embalmer will tell you, just have to be careful. You know, after I got COVID, I thought I was not going to embalm another again. You know, but then I gradually got back into it. So I had another person embalming because I was sick with COVID. So then we started realizing how to actually treat the COVID, as far as how to take out, make sure we're making preventative measures to make sure we're safe. So we delayed embalming a little bit. So we delayed the embalming process. We delayed it for maybe 6 hours, maybe 8 hours. We delayed it, and that gave the body time to settle. We treat the inside the cavities. We treat that first, and then so there's a little embalming things we did before, just to make sure we were protective, and to give that COVID virus time to kind of like lie dormant. But then after that, you know, I mean, it was just the normal embalming process. And so once that was done, now you did have a lot of funeral homes that I hear that did not embalm during COVID.
Well, what
I don't.
were they gonna do?
They did cremations, a lot of
Only?
cremations.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of cremations. Yeah.
Well, there goes your black clientele.
Yeah, and then a lot. Well, some they were referring to other films that were doing it.
Yeah.
But their firm was not doing it. And I know y'all look at the driving of the cremation, because cremation went up between 20 and now cremation went up in COVID time. So that cremation took off on the rise then too.
Really?
So
I never thought
yeah,
about that.
yeah, and I think it was just a lot of people were uneducated, and you had a lot of rumors out there about it.
Oh,
And
that
they were
people
just,
feeling like that they should cremate a body if it had COVID?
well, probably feeling like, well, if we don't cremate, we can get the virus. You know, we don't want to have the virus. You know, so I think there's a lot of misconception, a lot of uneducated people, and then there were a lot of people that just didn't want to take the time to really do it. You
It
know, I did have
reminds
one
me,
firm.
yeah, it reminds me of like the AIDS epidemic, like,
Yeah,
the mishandling of the bodies and just the
yeah, hmm
misinformation going on about
that's what it was.
mhm, how to
And
handle
and
these
and I'll be
bodies.
honest with you, in our clientele, you know, we went through it, but our clientele was still want to have services, you know, so we still want to do, you know, the outside. So we did outside services at the funeral home.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were still doing graveside services. And you know, but you know, a lot of clientele and on the white clientele side, you know, their cremation costs up north, like in Atlanta, that cremation is there right now. Their cremation is probably almost 70 to 80% cremations. Um, so they're not really
Really?
doing many funerals. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so interesting because, yeah,
Yeah.
people. I told my mom that I would like to be cremated, and she told me to
Yeah.
shut up and sit down.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
But
I was like, well,
believe it
most
or not,
likely you'll go before me, but okay.
yeah. And believe it or not, though, cremation, people are choosing cremation not because of finances. They choose cremation because they don't want to be buried in the dirt, or they don't want to be they're not from here, and they want to, you know, be taken back home, or you know, you got the nice jewelry you can get with, you got nice jewelry, you know. So I mean, it's a lot of things that go along with cremation, and it's just not the financial part. That's just people preference now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great to or I feel like it's beautiful to return to something. So,
Yeah.
instead of being in the ground doing
Yeah.
whatever bodies in the ground do without me saying,
Yeah.
um it to return and be spread somewhere, like wherever a place you find most sacred to you. I think that's
Mhm.
a beautiful full circle thing, but
Yeah.
Mama is convinced that cremation hurts. So I was like, "Mom, you ain't gonna be in there." And she was,
Well,
no.
now we talking about your mama, not Kirsten. Now, so you know, it's not gonna-
Listen, look, our
yeah.
listeners know that lady's nuts. That's my
oh
baby.
man.
But she, I know you. They put you in that box, and I know it hurt,
Uh,
and I know you know what's
yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know about that,
Mm-hmm.
but that's
Yeah.
my boo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um. Well, let's lighten the mood.
Okay.
Yeah. So before we hit live, you let us know a disclaimer that you would not put any bodies in ballet slippers. You
And
heard it
who?
here first,
And
folks.
ballet slippers.
In ballet slippers.
Oh no, no, no. No, I put ladies in in bedroom slippers, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think I'm putting unless the family is very adamant that's what they want now, but not in a
Well, can
full
you?
couch like that. Not in a full couch like that with the feet tied like that.
I couldn't understand why did they not close the second half of the
Yeah,
casket?
because
Why?
that's an option.
Because it's a full it's a
It was
full
a it was a full
it was a
casket.
full
Oh, it
couch.
was a
Yeah. It was a
oh.
full couch. It had the lid in the if you look at the movie, it had the lid sitting to the back there, and then when they went to the view, so the lid was sitting in the back, you take the whole lid and you come and you set it on top.
Mm.
So he's in a full
They
couch.
they should have chosen another casket as soon as they realized they were
It's
not gonna
just
get
a
that
half
man.
couch. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. So wait, what did you call it?
But believe it or not, now at the pew, they got what she said at the pew. Here at the pews, much we got this, so
Uh-huh. Well, and what did you call it? Hip us to the terminology. You said a full couch. What did you
It's a
say?
full couch. Yeah, full couch.
Okay.
With
Okay.
the body, everything shows, the whole body shows. Yeah.
Gotcha. And a half couch is when it's like
It's the
It
top.
shows half.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now you can't. Yeah,
okay.
you can get a full couch that opens all the way, but it has an inner piece in the foot panel. Because the foot panel, you put it at the bottom, but the casket opens all the way, and you still only show half the body.
Well, so we learn and pop in here,
Mhm.
but we learned in the movie that he died of a stroke, and that's why his feet were
Stuck like
turned
that.
in or
Yeah.
like crooked
Pointed
or
out.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so I want to ask you, like, is that's a thing like with stroke victims or I guess anyone who dies in a traumatic way, I guess maybe.
Well, I let's put it like this.
I
When
know
you
you've
have
seen some things, and if you don't want to get too
yeah,
morbid with us.
yeah, when you have for an extended period of time any kind of sickness, your
Yeah.
feet will begin to what they call drop size. So your feet will begin to start dropping, because you're not up and moving, so the feet will just kind of relax.
Really?
Yeah. But now when you get to stroke and all that, now yes, you can have like your hands could become tight. So there are different things. So your face could be twisted. So there are different
Yeah.
things, yes, that could take better. Now I haven't seen one yet from a stroke with the feet, but
You say
I
you
ain't seen it
haven't
yet, but
seen the feet?
I ain't seen it yet, but not from a stroke.
Oh,
So now, but
okay.
I ain't saying it probably won't happen now, but I'm just saying as a disclaimer, I didn't say it didn't happen. I didn't say it wouldn't happen now, but I mean I haven't seen it like that, but I've seen it in different ways, from different other sicknesses and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I had a friend that worked in a funeral home, and he was like, "Yeah, I've had to break a jar too," and I was like, "What?" So
Oh,
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
really?
He
Ooh,
said,
okay.
yeah,
No,
come in
I'm
like
not.
in your
I'm not
face
trying
twisted.
to. No, I'm not. I'm not doing even if we have to do a lot of restorative artwork, like from a vehicle accident or something. Normally I give the family, ask the family, listen, this is what's going to have to happen. We try to be as open with them as we can, explain to them what's going to
Right.
happen, and then we'll let them make the decision. It's not something I'm just going to just jump out there and say, hey, I mean, it's like I'm just going to do
Yeah,
this
I
because I feel
think
like,
with him, he just did it. I was
Just
like,
yeah,
oh
whoa.
my. Okay.
no, you got to. I'm just open with the families, and I try to tell them to be open
I
and
think that's
honest and tell them what's
best.
going on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that way they can make a decision. They can make a more better decision if they know what's going on. And I just want to let everybody know that's listening. We're not perfect. We do make mistakes. We
Oh,
are human. We are human. I mean, people think that because you're in this business, they think everything you do is going to be perfect, and it's not. We make mistakes. We make more mistakes than probably the regular business does. Um, but we try to correct those mistakes. And we ask the family if something is not, and just let us know. Let's But with social media and all now and everything else now, people want to take their frustrations to that, and so.
Of course.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
yeah.
going to say on your behalf, I've never seen a mistake on your from y'all, so whatever. But
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
you guys
We try not
have
to,
served
but
your family really well.
we definitely try not to. But
Yeah.
as the volume that we do and deal with the families, we do, and we try to outline everything else, but we don't make those mistakes.
Yeah.
But sometimes some things do slip through the cracks. So.
Yeah. This guy that I was mentioning before, he was with some old country funeral home. Like this was a couple of decades ago, and I was
Yeah,
you need to tell anybody else that story, okay? So
that went to yourself.
Yeah, for real. Oh, for real, man. I would never told that story there, but okay.
Yeah. So but yeah, the story gets worse because he wasn't even like part of the embalming or like body team. He was like one of the grave diggers. Then they were like, well, just come in and help us. And I was like, oh my God, stop. Just stop.
See them the ones that think they knew it all.
So yeah. But I don't know, Terrell, I feel like I've just been monopolizing this whole conversation. I'm fascinated. I really am.
No, this is good stuff. I mean, I don't know much about it. I go to funerals, and that's about it.
That's as far as you go.
As far as I go.
Have you made your final arrangements, Terrell? You have 2 children.
I have not. I haven't. To be honest, I haven't even thought about it.
Really? Oh, because you're gonna live forever, right?
That's the plan, but I know that's not. That's not.
Let me tell you something, Pierce. How he is. Whenever we do movies that are like apocalypse or like end of the world, he is always like, yeah, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to survive. And I'm the one that's like, no, just go ahead and kill me. I do not want to live in that world. But Terrell he's not joking. He does plan to live forever.
Well, me and him go be in the race together then, because I don't plan on going to either. And
I see y'all on the other side.
I tell everybody, if you don't get to that gate before I get there, I'm gonna be the last one to close it.
Okay, well, I'll be in there eating ice cream. Like, see, y'all should have been here.
Yeah, I ain't no hurry to get there. I ain't no hurry. You see all this gray hair used to be black. Now it's getting like the gray too used to be black.
Oh Lord!
Old folks always say, y'all just keep living.
Yeah, well, yeah. I ain't in no hurry to get there, but I'm not trying to live in no post-apocalyptic world where just you can't do nothing but eat cold baked beans out of a can and just that's it. No, I'm good. Terrell, you enjoy.
I will. Crack open my Bush's baked beans and I will go to town.
You just keep on rolling that beautiful bean footage. That's what you do. No, thank you. But I do feel like I've been taking all this conversation. Do you got a question, Terrell?
I do actually. It's not about the movie. It's just about I guess what would you do? What would you be doing if you were not in the funeral home business? Because I know it runs in your family. Your father was the director, and then you kind of took over as director. And so, like, if you weren't in the funeral home business, what do you believe you would be doing?
Well, if I wasn't in the funeral business, I was going to school to major in business administration. That was why I was going to college and majoring in business administration. I was playing high school football. I had 7 scholarships.
Wow, I didn't know that.
See, I was 175 pounds then. I ain't 175 pounds now, but so I was and I was going to play football. That was my college was to play football. But then I got hurt my senior year, so the doctors and all felt like it wasn't in my best interest. So that's how I turned into the funeral business with my father.
Really? So you weren't going to do it at first?
No, I was not. No, I was going on to college and play football for 4 years, and then experience that college life, and then get my business administration degree, and then come back into the funeral business. Then go to funeral school, mortuary school. Yeah.
Well, did you, as a young person, did you help your
Mm.
dad around the business? When did you start like learning and like?
Well, my father first bought the funeral home in Sandersville, Ellen Pierce Funeral Home, back in 1985. He bought that funeral home there. So I was born in 74, so I wasn't that old. And so I was scared of the funeral home. You couldn't get me to go in the front door, back door, no nothing. I rode a bicycle around the funeral home, stayed outside the whole time, drank water from the faucet. You know how we do when you're young.
Oh, we remember the old house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, it was like, nah, you ain't finna get me. No. So, so then, and the movies brought back memories with that old hearse they had in the movie. Because, I mean, we had that same hearse, and it smelled like death. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Back in the days, the hearses was the ambulance service. You know what I'm saying? So they ran the hearses, people in the ambulance, took them to the doctor and the hospital. So,
that's really scary.
yeah. So can you imagine you going to the emergency room in the ambulance and you pass away and you're gonna say it been the same ambulance going back to the funeral home. So
I'm gonna take the next ride. Thank you.
Well, yeah. So but yeah, and it wasn't until probably my senior year in high school, when I started really changing the fact that, okay, I'm playing football still. And then my senior year I got hurt. And then I went to 3 doctors. Say, what do y'all think? I said, well, I wouldn't suggest it, but I mean, it's your call. I became about a quarter of an inch or half inch from being paralyzed from hitting the back. So I was like, well, so I took down the scholarships and then I went to mortuary school. Wow. So here I am 37 years later. And now I feel like it's the best decision I made, because I love people, and so and anything
funny how life works out that way.
Yep. And anything you do, you got to love what you do. If you don't love what you do, you're not gonna be effective. You're not gonna be effective at it.
Yeah.
So,
yep. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So that's my story.
That's incredible. Yeah. Well, what do you recommend to those who are curious about, making their final arrangements? I know you said that you can visit the website, so this is your plug time where people can find information.
Yeah. So they can go. Of course, they can go to our website if they want to. Our website is www.thedorchesterfuneralhome.com. They can go there, and they can pull up the information on our website, and they can go and you can just search too. Headstones, everything is on there. And there's a question. If you have questions, you can send an email to us. Better yet, if not, just call the funeral home here, 912-884-2431. Every funeral home is different.
Yes.
So every funeral home does not do the same. So if you go to one funeral home and expect to come here and expect to be the same thing, it might not be. So
that's right. So you can't call up another funeral home and be like, I want to talk to that family man that was on the podcast. I want to talk directly to him.
Yep. So you got to know that just every funeral home don't do things the same way. Maybe similar, not the same way. So some families, they come to us and be like, well, no, down in Florida. Well, that's down in Florida, but we here in Georgia. That's what we do here, So, but yeah, it's. I just think I think the education piece. I think people just need to just get more educated on, and just know that every undertaker is not about the death. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would rather sit down with you, talk to you, and educate you on how you can do things to prepare yourself. Because sad to say, because it's one day we all going to experience it, and I've experienced it twice, and more than that because I had uncles, so we've experienced it. Every family going to experience it, whether you're undertaker, whether you rich, whether you're poor, whether you're middle class, you're going to experience it. And then, but everybody know their finances better than you do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I will say that I've always, what I've loved about, the Dorchester Funeral Home experience, it is a rough time. It's not always a good time when we have to go see you. But one thing I do love about you guys is that you specifically are very back of the house and front of the house.
Yeah.
So it's very comforting to know that the person you talk to will also be the one handling your loved one. So, and I feel like you don't always get that in other funeral homes. Sometimes those are separate.
Yeah. Well, there are times here where I have another. As we've grown, I've got another funeral and embalmer.
Right, you have to, because you guys have really expanded.
Yep.
So yeah.
And I have another female funeral and funeral embalmer. Then I have a part-time funeral embalmer who's a male. So and my biggest philosophy is, and when a family comes in the funeral home, I want a director to be able to meet with them.
Right.
And I can't clone myself to be in 3 places at the same time. So I try
but
to make sure
we can at least trust that you know what our loved ones look like. Because some they are just the face of the business and that's it.
No. Most definitely. That's one of the key things I tell people all the time. It's a whole lot easier when you know people, but then at the same time it's difficult because you know people. And and most families that I've dealt with over the years and come back and we do, it's like, oh man, I was just talking to him the other day. Oh man, I just would have, and things happen so fast that it's like, oh man. So I won't be understanding. I do have a heart.
Yes.
They are things that really bother me, shake me, like babies and children, and and tragedy things that just seem that it just shouldn't happen that way. And so I know a lot of people think it's about the dollar, but I mean it's a dollar gonna come. The dollar gonna come. But I mean, my biggest thing is making sure that we do what we need to do to take care of that family.
Yeah,
that's the main goal.
Yeah. Well, that's great that you have amassed like an exceptional team that you trust. And so that's really good. And it does go without saying that the funeral industry is a big ticket, big money industry, but it is your final arrangements. So I mean, you can't get a $5 casket. I'm sorry. I mean, you could, but it ain't gonna go well.
Well, I tell, and you touch on that now. You're talking about the finance. I tell, my biggest thing of it is a family know their finances better than I do.
Sure.
So when you come into the funeral home, don't come here and pick a $10,000 funeral knowing you ain't got $5,000. If you ain't got $5,000, just say, hey, I don't have $5,000, I have $6,000, and let us try to help you tailor a service for you.
Right. I think being upfront is just always better. In many cases.
You'll be surprised at the families that have come here and all these promises to pay, and after the service is over with and everything else, and we went along with it, and the money's still in the books. And so and then they tell you, well, but really, why we can't pay you by the month? Well, because we tried this numerous times and people don't pay. And so,
no.
I mean, that's why I'm trying to educate because funerals are not going down. and they're not going. Funerals are not going down. They're not going down. They're
going up.
And
sure.
And then cremation costs is going up because cremation is going up. So wherever it's going, it's going to be going up. So either way, you're going to have insurance or finance set aside to be able to take care of it.
Yeah, now that people are seeing cremation as like a viable option for their final arrangements, it is going to go up. It used to be the cheaper option, but and because what I've seen now is like people renting caskets and then having a cremation. I had never seen that before until like maybe a couple of years ago, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. So that you can have that open casket funeral and then cremate the way your loved one wishes. But it's the funeral industry is really growing, which I don't have to tell you that all too well.
And it's growing day by day. I just come back from a conference yesterday, and I mean it's talking to funeral directors. Their cremation cost right now, direct cremation is $3,495. Well, mine is $1,500.
Really? I thought it would have been more than that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now,
well,
if you do an ID viewing before this, we do ID viewing, which family come 5 or 10 people come in and see before, then it's like $2,000 because we have to disinfect and everything.
right.
But but $34.95 for direct cremation.
Mm-hmm.
And that price is steady going up. And I mean, it's either way. I mean, and most funeral homes know either way they're going to have either cremation going to take the cremation costs up, lower the funerals. You know what I'm saying, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way they're going to be able to continue to make it.
Well,
So
whew. All right. Well, let's swing it back to the movie. I feel
I
like
didn't get a lot. I didn't get a
it's
lot
so
of it.
fascinating. I look. I could pick your brain all day. I'm real fascinated with stuff. Like, so I
That's
know.
why I said how long we got. How long we got?
So I follow a couple of like accounts on TikTok and
Yeah.
Instagram that talk about like the death process and like the actual like embalming process, and like they don't really show anything, out of respect to their clients, but they talk about it, and I just think no before that stuff would have really creeped me out and scared me, and it almost feels like when you look at stuff like that, it's like inviting death to come get you, and I feel like that's what people think, but I find it so comforting to know what's going to happen and to know like they talk about the not to get too morbid, like I feel like I'm saying that disclaimer a lot, but I probably should have given our trigger warnings in the beginning of an episode like we usually do, but they talk about the gases that are released once you're in the ground, and they talk about the composition process and stuff like that, and I think it's comforting to me to know what could happen, and like they talk about the cremation process and that kind of stuff. So I think it's fascinating. I don't know if I want to see all that up close, but to see like them talking about it and to like share that information, I feel like the best defense against like fear of like going through something is to educate yourself, arm yourself with knowledge about it. But again, off topic. Let's get back to the movie, which I feel like this question is going to take us right back off topic again. But, but so the movie, a major component of the movie is the Whoopi Goldberg's character. The mom wants to put on the headstone, mean and surly, because that's what he was. Have you ever had any wild requests like that? And when I say wild request, like you could even go into like because I've seen on Instagram, maybe I need to get off social media so much, but these wild funeral homes, like one, I think the drive-through funeral is kind of cool, but I've seen like where they have the body standing up and smoking a cigarette, or the Ghetto Fabulous funerals, and some of them are really interesting, creepy, but interesting. But have you had any, like, even if it's something just like with a funny epithet on a headstone or something?
I have not had any major requests like for the for the standing up and sitting down. I have not. I know a couple of firms that have
really
in Atlanta area.
Of course, that makes sense. That track.
So, but no, not it hadn't quite got. I hadn't had that happen yet here. So looking forward to it. It probably does come, but I mean, but it hasn't happened here yet for us. As far as anything in particular, yeah, I have had like certain things with families. Well, let's do this, or let's bury. Or, well, I've had one family say, well, they was actually making arrangements, pre-arrangements, and the man said, I want to be buried face down, and I'm like,
oh, not to kiss it so they can kiss his ass. Oh my God.
And thing is, when you do that, I said, well, that's what you want. I said, but is anybody gonna view you? Are they gonna view your face? I don't want to view my face. He said, I want him to. I said, okay. I said, well, let's rethink that one. Let's
Yeah, that's some time.
Yeah, let's rethink that.
Yeah.
So I ain't had
All
that
jokes
happen.
ain't funny when they actually happen. Like,
I know. I'm like, let's rethink that one just a little bit.
well,
It just don't have no viewing at all. So.
Yes. Let's just slam that lid shut, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So, the last video I did watch on Instagram, this guy was sharing, but I didn't watch it with the sound on, so I don't know why they did it. But he was explaining how some people get buried on their side.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had to do that?
Yeah. Now I did that in the Muslim faith, because in the Muslim faith you have to be buried facing the east. So you have to be in a tilt. Your head has to be in a tilt facing the east. So you have to figure out which is the east. So sometimes you do have to turn a person to the side or put them in order to face that east, in the Muslim faith. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting. Like,
it's like a class to me. You need to take some notes.
I know, right?
Yeah, they have that, and different religions have different things you have to, but the Muslims is definitely their head has to be facing towards the east.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that's fascinating. I was watching this video and it was like showing this person on their side. And I was like, well, that makes sense. And I was like, because I sleep on my side, that makes sense to me. But
and some people that they did that, it probably was a preference from the family to do that, because they, some people they want to bury you now the way you live. So if you sleep in that way, and that's how they want, you can do that, and put a pillow on them and just let you sleeping. So any memory pictures that families can request, that is, we can do it. We try to do it that's within the law. I'm not gonna break the law now, but so.
Well, yeah, I just always because I'm always smiling, and I would like to, if I'm in a casket, would like to be smiling, but I feel like that'd be creepy.
Yeah,
it would.
Well, I did.
Y'all ain't had to agree so hard.
Well, I did have one. I had one family. I had one family that they wanted to show his gold grill. So so we made that happen. So yeah.
How did you not bring that up when I asked you if you ever had any wild requests?
It just hit me when I was thinking. We kept talking, and it just hit me.
So what you just how?
No. We just had the top part. This is the top part here was showing. Okay. And it was funny because the pastor said, "Hey Reggie, his mouth open." I said, "Yeah, I know. That was a request." Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hey, you pay a lot for them gold grills. I imagine.
Yeah.
Shine in the afterlife too.
Yeah, there you go. And that's what she wanted. She said, that's what she wanted. I said, well, okay.
Well, I've got one final question, but Terrell, if you have one, because I feel like we'll keep you here all day. We'll be like, we're gonna let you get a break for lunch, but then we want you to come right back. But I know you got service. We ain't gonna take up all your time. But go ahead, Terrell. You gotta.
Yeah, just had a question like Clarissa. What was her name? Clarice.
Yeah, Clarice.
Clarice. Yeah. Have you ever had someone who was not the person that was like the direct, like the husband or the wife or the son or the daughter or anything like that, kind of like show out where you had to step in and be like, pump your brakes, hold on, just wait a minute? If you ever had to stop somebody from acting out in a service?
Translation, he want to know about baby mama drama up in the funeral.
Yeah. Yeah. We had that when, in the movie, when Jada was her and Anthony was going through that little spat with the earring, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we've had that. We've had that. I tell anybody, if you got any secrets, just die. And when you die, all your secrets gonna come out. And that's kind of like in the movie, nobody probably wouldn't know the man was mean. He was mean and Shirley until she said it.
That is interesting, because everyone, because me and Mama say it all the time, like, you become a saint in death, like, And when
You ain't
you
did no
die,
wrong now.
you just a saint. And I respected so much the fact that she was like, he wasn't a saint, and I'm
Yeah.
not gonna hold him in that regard.
So you didn't know
Mhm.
him. You didn't you didn't
Yeah.
know him. You know what I'm saying? Say, and she
Mhm.
cut him off. Now if you cut me off like she did for 27 years, I'm gonna get saved. I'm
How
gonna get saved with
I
her.
did not catch that. As many times as I've seen this movie, I did not catch that she was like
Yeah,
20
yeah.
years
And then she said, and only the one
One
time, and you
time.
looking at her, you look at
and
one time.
delightful.
I said, you
I
cut me
love
off 20
delightful.
20 years. 20 years. Oh no, I'm gonna be saved. I'm gonna be taking the Bible everywhere I go. Yeah, baby, let's go to church.
Oh my goodness. I ain't mad at you though. I feel I would do the same, but I ain't mad at you.
Yeah. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Well, my final question is about faith and practicality. So, characters like Marguerite, the one played by Loretta Devine, lean on religion, but other characters, they focus on survival and finances. Which approach do you feel is more realistic in the context of Black Southern families? Or is just tear up the place? Or is it like a mixture of all? Like, what do you guys think about that?
I personally think it's a mixture of all.
Yeah.
Because when you gotta have somebody that's gotta be saved in the religion portion to be able to understand how to guide you through the spiritual part. And then you gotta have somebody that don't have any money, you know, to be able to understand how to budget for the funeral because you ain't got no money. And then you gotta have that one to say, hey, listen, y'all, he ain't no saint, he ain't this, he ain't that, but guess what? He's my husband. And so I think the balance, and then the kids with LL Cool J, and he's had this, trying to get the child, and they're going through that, and it showed how he was more stable. So you have that stable person that can basically keep the family together. Because at the end of the movie, he was the one that did the eulogy, so he kept the family together at the end.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a collaboration and of everybody coming together. All those personalities got to be together, and at the end, when all of them came together, what happened? They had church.
Yeah. It was one of the corniest endings I've ever seen,
Yeah.
but it was nice for them to finally get over themselves and just go ahead and put this man in the ground, because they were really goodness, it was
But
were really,
you see they changed the shoes though on the funeral.
I saw the shoes. Yeah,
the visitation.
For some reason, I just wanted to look. I had to see what he had on.
Those ballet slippers, they were obnoxious. Like, what? Oh my goodness! Like, because you just keep me in my socks. Don't cram me in no ballet shoes. Like, come on now. That was
then they're tied together. So tied together.
What? I missed that part. What?
His feet was tied together.
They were?
Yeah, they were tied together, wasn't it? In the movie, tied together in the movie.
I didn't see that. I don't know. Maybe y'all saw.
If they weren't tied together, they sure was cramped up in there. They should have turned together.
They were like. So that was crazy. I I feel like in that time we do going back to the question, we do rely on religion a lot, and I think that in times of like trauma and like deep grief, those teachings come back to us, and I feel like that is what we saw with Marguerite and her son, like
Royce.
Yeah. Even though the mother was so overbearing, and and that him wanting to get on welfare was such a stereotype. But
and his reason how he was going to do it. Oh man,
hand me a couple kids. That was so funny because her face just broke. Like, she was like, "Yes,
that's your plan. That's your plan."
Yes. And we said, "I'm gonna get on welfare," and her face was like, "Boy." So, but I think
look what happened to Royce. Royce got up in the church and read the whole scripture. He started changing.
Like an Easter speech. Yes, he did. Clap for that baby.
Yes, he did.
But he did it. He did it.
He did it.
He did it.
He did it. You know, I think, you know, something good did come out of Daddy Slocum's death. It did bring this broken family together, and I don't think their issues are resolved.
No.
But they could at least come together just this once to get that man in the ground, because it looked like he wasn't gonna get in the ground that day.
Not with Cedric. Not with Cedric. He wasn't, because his stomach was all messed up, so he would never make the cemetery. He would never got there.
Yeah, that was a rough one. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, Terrell, you have any final thoughts for the actual film itself?
No.
Well,
what it was, they got him in the ground and
they did.
Went to live another day.
Yes. Well, let's move on to best, worst, weirdest before we wrap up. So this is the part of our episode at the end where we go around and we tell the best part of the movie, the worst part, and the weirdest part of the movie. So, Terrell, how about you show them how it's done?
All right. Okay. So the best part of the film, I enjoyed the cast. It was good to see all these great actors, actresses together in one film. The music, that was the best part to me. The music, Kurt Franklin, he really put together a nice soundtrack, and it really helped the movie flow better than it would have if we hadn't had those songs in there. The worst part of the film was how it seemed like it was a stage play. It didn't seem like it was an actual movie, though I know it's based on an off-Broadway play. It really didn't seem very cinematic. It was real like this part, then they jumped to this part. Then it seemed like they were jumping just the different sets like you would in a play. And the acting seemed like they were acting in an actual play. So that was probably the worst part. And the weirdest part to me was Jada Pinkett Smith.
You just don't like
Jada. Yeah, that is very true as well. And I was gonna hold on, and I wasn't gonna get on Jada Pinkett Smith, but I couldn't hold back.
You because you hate her very guts, and I know that you were gonna say that. I'm not surprised.
It was weird, and then she got up lip syncing. I was like, "Now we know that ain't you."
Yeah, it was Tamar actually.
Yep, yes it was.
You know what? Usually I would make you go over again, but because of that whack answer. But for the sake of time, we are going to pass it on to Mr. Pierce here. So, best, worst, weirdest, what you got for us?
Best, worst, weirdest. So I would say the best part to me of the movie was the actual family coming together at the end, in the midst of all the trials and tribulations leading up to the funeral. They were actually able to come together at the end. I think that's what I would love to see all families be able to do at the end of the day, is come together. I think the weirdest part of the movie, to me, of course, got to go back to those ballerina shoes. That was probably the weirdest part of the movie, was ballerina shoes. I mean, I just, and then too, at the same time, when Anthony Anderson pulled that gun on Jada, you know what I'm saying? It was like he's gonna try to kill all of them in the car, you know what I'm saying? That was just that's just one of the things. I think the movie itself in 2001 was put together as to the best it could have been put together in 2001.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that I agree with Terrell that the characters were, they put together a great cast of characters to be able to pull that off. So I was just, looking for the first time. Then you look at it again. It's more of a comedy than anything else. I think it is. But in the comedy, you got to look at the underlying things in there. And because I'm in the business, I can see the underlying stuff that people don't normally see. But I think overall the movie was just as need be than 2001. But
Yeah.
2025 is a little bit more different now, but
yeah, that's one thing that Terrell and I experience a lot, because like for this podcast, we specifically do Black movies, and sometimes we choose new ones, but a lot of times we choose the ones we grew up with. And looking at these movies in this 2025 lens, it's like, oh, we thought that was funny back then. Oh, that's problematic. Yeah. But yeah, definitely looking at this movie through older lens, one older, and then just a different time. It's like, yeah.
Like night and day.
Yeah, we've killed a lot of our favorite movies, like just by critiquing it, like, man, but we still gonna watch it though. My best, worst, weirdest. I think the best part of the movie, I'm gonna have to take your answer, Terrell, like the ensemble cast. It's always fun to see well-known actors play together, because like that behind the scenes factor I had, that a lot of the lines were improvised. It was like these people know each other, they respect each other's crafts, so of course they were improvising lines. And you had like greats like Loretta Devine and Whoopi Goldberg playing with, like, because I believe this is like up and coming Anthony Anderson, and we've known Jada for a while, but this was like her mainstream like film trajectory. So it's always good to see actors who are well known just work together. I love ensemble cast movies. I would say the worst part of the film, going back to like learning that this was based on a play, that kind of like snapped the last piece of the puzzle in for me, because I was like, okay, this makes sense now. Because this movie, I think we could have had a better and stronger movie if we would have focused on one drama or just a couple of dramas, but every family member had something going on. We had like maybe six different storylines going on, and that is typically what you would have in a play. Like everybody's got a line, everybody's got a role, everybody's got a storyline. And so it was like, okay, this is a lot. This is like chaos salad, and it is just being tossed up and given to us. And knowing that this was based on a play, then it made sense. I was like, okay. So that would be the worst part for me. The weirdest was probably how dramatic Jada's character was. It was like, girl, your cheating crazy ass husband, he didn't just start cheating and being a deadbeat and being broke and stuff. Girl, let it go. Let that man put his daddy in the ground. Then you could get on him. I ain't saying to just let it slide. I'm just saying, just save it a little bit. So, so that's me. So, all right. Well, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to rate this movie. So we have our Sips and Scripts cocktail scale, going from 1 to 5. 5 being top shelf cinema, the best, like constant rewatch. 4 will be a signature cocktail. It's good every now and then, not a favorite, but it's a ready steady. 4, house margarita, it's on sale. So the movie is just there. You're watching it because it's there. 2, bottom shelf special. It's the cheap on special. Watched it once. I don't need to watch it again. And 1 is well liquor with no chaser. Just I watched it once. I can't stomach it again. So Terrell, we're gonna start with you. Rate our film Kingdom Come.
I will rate it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was expecting lower from you.
Really? No, I like it. It's not that I don't like the film. It's just that I can do without it. But it watching it again, I was like, because I hadn't seen it in a few years. It just brought back some memories. Actually, after I leave here, I'm going to listen to the soundtrack again. Okay,
so by virtue of the soundtrack, that's the
that lifted it up to a 3.
Okay. All right, Mr. Pierce, hit us with your rating.
Well, I'm gonna give it a 4, and I say that, and I say that because of it's what I do all the time. So it kind of was spot on certain things and spot off on things. But I think the cast for me is what we're really, But I'm ready to four.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna give it a 3 too. I feel like it's cool to see all the everybody on screen you recognize, and it's cool to watch again. Like I feel like I said earlier when we first opened up, that it is a movie that you pull out during the holidays, everybody sit down and watch it and giggle at it, and then you move on. So it's good for the giggles, which most margaritas are good for the giggles. So so yeah. Well, that is our show, folks. We went over time, but we had some really great conversation, and we thank you so much for joining us and giving us your time on this Sunday. I have been wanting to have you on the show for so long, and I finally reached out to you, and I was so thrilled that you just accepted and gave me no problems.
And you gave me a good movie too to go by too. So
good. The process is usually not as streamlined as it was. So one, thank you for making it very easy to have you on. And we really enjoyed you. And I think I can speak for Terrell. We both enjoyed
appreciate
it. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you asking me. I appreciate you asking me to come on. Appreciate that.
Of course. We got to have you back as soon as we get us another death and dying film.
Yeah.
Or maybe something else.
The Death at the Funeral? We could do that one.
Oh my goodness. Is that the one with the guy was married with the little person?
Yeah, the little person, little midget. Yeah, Chris. Chris Rock. And Martin Lawrence. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Well, look, that's on y'all. Terrell, if you want to put it on our calendar and you want to have Mr. Pierce in it, then we'll do it. So if you will join us again, or if you come up with another film that you would like, either way, like I said, we do Black films here because we love on our Black babies, and films are our babies. So
just let me know.
And Black films don't get a lot of love, so we try to take care of them, kick them around a little bit, break them open, but we love them. So
just let me know. Y'all let me know. I appreciate being on.
Yeah. Well, thanks to our audience for tuning in to Sips and Scripts. We had a blast unpacking Kingdom Come, and this family gathering cocktail definitely helped us get through the reunion. So follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Sips and Scripts Podcast, and visit sipsandscriptspodcast.com for past episodes and recipes and more. And let you plug yourself, Mr. Pierce. Where can we find you on social media or your website, or where can we find you?
We on TikTok. Dorchester Funeral Home. We're on TikTok. We also, of course, our website is Dorchester Funeral Home. Well, it's www.thedorchesterfuneralhome.com. And you can plug us in there. We also on Facebook. Same thing, Dorchester Funeral Home. We're on Facebook. So just feel free. It's on our website. It shows we also on YouTube. Dorchester Funeral Home on YouTube. And if you don't find Dorchester, but the THE Dorchester Funeral Home. And
I didn't know that you guys were everywhere.
And just to put a plug in, our email address is dorchesterfuneralhome1@gmail.com.
All right. Well, you heard it here, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining us. And until next time, cheers. Bye,
thank you.
everyone. Okay. Let me